Nosy Nancy's is a true crime podcast based in Austin, Texas. If you are sensitive to any of the trigger words, this is not the podcast for you. Due to its graphic nature, listener discretion is advised.
Somewhere between the sandy limb again. Well, I was just pretending that it's all just a dream. A little condescending to believe in it. I'm getting the notion that I'm going all in.
We're rolling.
Wait, before we start, I wanted to tell you this joke. It's my favorite joke.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you call a lazy baby kangaroo?
Ew. What?
A pouch potato.
Oh, shut your mouth. Oh my God.
It's so stupid, but I love it. All right. Hey, all you nosies. I'm Alequah.
And I'm Jasmine, and welcome to Nosy Nancy's episode.
I don't even know what episode this is.
Welcome to this Nosy Nancy's episode.
Yeah. Welcome to, I think it's episode 13, actually.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, episode 13.
All right. Lucky 13.
Oh
my God. We're so in sync.
Of my head. I know, we're like twins. We're like,
oh my God. Do you remember? Do you remember? Because I just thought of this for the first time in several years. But do you remember that band Together? And it was those guys. I have no idea who they were. But then it was Kevin Farley, Chris Farley's brother, and they were a boy band making fun of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
This? What was like one of their songs?
Breaking Up.
Breaking Up.
It was
amazing.
The number 2 Together.
Oh.
Mickey Park, Kevin Farley, Evan Farmer.
No, I don't remember that band at all.
Oh my God.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I thought that you for sure
would have remembered. Yeah.
Maybe would have remembered. Todd didn't know who I was talking about either, which it's kind of expected with him, but right. Okay, the year 2000. They had Together, and then they had Together Again.
What?
Yeah.
Honestly, in high school, I was getting drunk a lot, but also we didn't have cable TV at my house. So and this was right at the beginning of the internet. So
oh, gotcha.
I probably didn't ever know they even existed.
Yeah. Well, it was like a boy band making fun of boy bands. They had the typical, younger guys all together. And then all of a sudden there was Kevin Farley, who was like a bigger, older, guy.
Chris Farley.
Band.
Oh,
no,
my God.
It was Kevin.
Oh, shut up.
Chris Farley's brother.
Right. But he was like a bigger, older person of everybody else in the band.
Yeah.
It's like him and like 3 other 17-year-olds, and he's like 35.
Yeah, that was the whole reason that it even caught my attention as a kid, because I was like, "Who's this?" And I was like, "He looks so familiar."
That's how I feel like whenever I play these stupid online games. I'm like a 39-year-old playing against fucking probably 10-year-olds and getting my ass beat. It's embarrassing.
No, we've been playing Sea of Thieves, and Todd is very encouraging. He says that I'm very good, on the cannons and stuff. And I really appreciate him for that.
I bet he does, yeah.
When what does that mean? I'm very good on the cannons. Todd says so. So when this is a children's podcast. When we're attacked, during Sea of Thieves, I'm like, I feel like I suck because I'm just going running around. The people are killing me. Like, it's just a bunch of like 10-year-old kids who are just like decking my ass out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. No, those 10-year-olds are like amazing, and we
I
all
know.
suck. They were born with literally like handheld devices. They
Right.
just came out with that. We struggled, you know.
No, it's true.
We had to struggle.
I know.
So we struggled doing this podcast.
I
don't
know,
even.
it's true. I went in the antique store the other day. Actually, we're going back because I want to take Todd to this antique store because
Yeah.
I went during lunch. It's down the street from my office, and I only got to see half of it, but I took pictures for Todd of all the ugliest things that I could find there. And they have some of the most horrific shit that I have ever seen. Like,
And of course, you want to fill the house up with it, right?
well, I mean, yes, but also just I want to see what else is there. But somebody is making these little dolls that are like stuck all around, and they're dressed up for different things, but like the faces are so like uncanny valley weird.
Terrifying.
And bizarre, and there's like a duck. It's weird.
What?
Because it was in
God.
like the Easter section. They had a bunch of cool shit there, but they had just a bunch of like, I went in deciding like I'm gonna take pictures of the ugly things so that Todd can enjoy it too. And I mean, I stood in there
Aw.
taking pictures the entire time of everything. Yes.
Oh, I'm kind of like a little ugly thing in an antique
I
store.
know, me too.
I know. Maybe someday somebody will take pictures of us. Wait,
Don't
that's
take my
kind of
picture.
weird.
I didn't want
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Unless you want to join our Patreon.
Illegal.
Speaking of Patreon, we have some shout outs that we need to do
We
for
do.
our Patreon. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. So you want to do the first, which would be
Todd. He was our
Yeah.
first Patreon because he is so precious and so supportive of us and the podcast, and he is very, very sweet. So he was our first little Patreon, and I thank him so much.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Thanks,
You rock our
Todd.
socks.
I love you.
And then our second Patreon member that we're going to do today for our shout out is Emily. Emily R. I'm not going to say your last name because I don't know if you want that out there. Yeah. But Emily and I went to high school together. Or actually, we went to I think we even went to elementary school. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but I didn't even know she listened to our podcast. So that's really cool.
Well, you are kick-ass, Emily. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Emily's hilarious. So Emily's mom used to work with my mom. And one summer we had to go to the high school, or I think it was the high school. And we I don't know. I don't even remember what we did, but we were just like there the entire day at the high school, running around, being hoodlums, playing Pretty Pretty Princess and attic
Amazing.
above the school gym. I know. I think that was Emily. It may not have been, but if it was Emily, if it was you, Emily, I remember that. So, but thank you so much.
If it was you, I remember it vividly. But if it wasn't
you, yeah,
then
just fast forward.
disregard it.
Yeah, because it's embarrassing. So we are super excited. We're super thankful for you guys. We love you all. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah.
Yeah, we love you.
Oh, I do want to say something though, real quick before we start getting into the episode. There was a second body found in the lake. Well, actually, it wasn't Lady Bird Lake. It was technically Lake Austin.
Was it next? Is that the one that was next to? Was it the Longhorn Dam?
No, so the Longhorn Dam is east of 35. This was
Okay.
west of Mopac.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is up. This is like 15 miles away from Lady Bird Lake. This is more like getting into like Lake Travis area. It was a male. A lot of people were questioning whether or not it was related, and I think it's way too far up there
Yeah.
to be related. but yeah, it's like past Pennybacker Bridge. It's way up there.
Oh, okay, okay. So, are there any details, any further details on that body, or not? Not as of right
Not
now.
really.
Okay.
They did. So I did see his name be mentioned unofficially, so I'm not going to say his name. I haven't really followed up on it. I didn't think it was connected.
Gotcha. Let me do this because she does not listen, but
Oh.
her fiance listens. Todd's brother, Scott.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
weekend, because we did not record last weekend, but last weekend was Adriana's birthday, Scott's beautiful fiance, and we went to her birthday party, and it was amazing. She had like a karaoke
Oh,
party, and Todd made the drinks. We had Long Islands, we had tequila sunrises. It was a really good time. I
that's
sang.
cool.
I made Todd sing Do You Believe by Share with
My
me.
share?
Yes.
Shut the fuck up. Why did you
Yeah.
not record that? We could put it on our Patreon.
Oh, well, maybe next time. Maybe next year. I mean,
Well,
she'll
now,
she'll have another birthday, so.
yeah.
But I
Well,
did
now
want to give a
Todd.
shout out to Adriana and Scott for hosting that party. It was a great time.
Well, happy birthday, Adriana.
Love you.
I hope
She's
I
so
hope it was a
sweet.
good time.
She is just the sweetest, most little. She's just so angelic. I just adore her.
Oh God, could you imagine being angelic? I think people would want to like touch you and talk to you. Oh,
I
I'm so
don't.
glad I'm just a crab.
She doesn't seem like the type of person who would enjoy being touched by randos.
Yeah.
So
Well, nobody likes it, but you know those people that are like super like nice and friendly and like glowy and people like, oh,
yeah,
gravitate towards them. Yeah, it couldn't be me. I would be
no.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, just so you know, before you come close to me, I do have 5 kinds of rabies and I will infect all of you with these rabies, these super rabies.
Yeah, I don't like to be touched and stuff if I'm not prepared.
I don't even like to be next to somebody, okay? Even if I am prepared, I don't like it. I'm excited though. The reason why I brought up this nice day is because after this, I'm gonna go to a wrestling show.
Wonderful.
I know. I invited Courtney because I was like, please come to the show with me. And she's like, fine. So tomorrow is Courtney's birthday. Happy birthday, Courtney!
Oh my God, Courtney, happy birthday.
Yeah, she'll be 33 on March 3rd. Isn't that
Stop.
amazing? I
Really?
know. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I know. Anyways, enough about her. So she invited all, I'm just kidding. I love her. But she invited like all these people to this wrestling show, which is good for me because I'm trying to like, you know, bag one of the guys that is wrestling there.
Okay, okay.
So the more people that I bring, the more,
Popular you
that's more,
look.
yeah, more brownie points I get, right? For them coming to this show. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see half-naked men throw themselves at each other. Ah, it's going to be a great night.
We actually have a friend who is celebrating their birthday tonight. So we're going to
Oh,
go
really?
eat hot dogs. And then I think they're coming over to our house to do some drinks and stuff. So,
Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's not as cool as a wrestling show, but it's going to be fun.
but we're going to eat some hot dogs. And they're premium.
Well, if
So,
things go my way,
but is it going to be primo?
and I hope so. If it's not, I'm going to be very upset that I had all these people come to this show.
Well,
A
hopefully
lot of
it'll go
work.
well. Hopefully
No,
it'll
I
go
think it's
well.
gonna be a lot of fun. If you live in Austin, it's called Fight Opera, and it's an amateur group of wrestlers, and they put on a show. I think they put on a show like every 3 or 4 months.
Is it
But yeah,
like
it's gonna be
is it like a WWF or is it like a
yeah.
high
So
school?
so we're very casually dating, okay? But he told me so basically there's different style wrestling, and this style is called professional wrestling. Even though they're not professionals, but the WWE style is called the professional wrestling. So
Okay.
that's just the style.
All right.
Yeah, I just think they're hot. I'm just going to see their hot bodies. So yeah, it's called professional style wrestling, and it's like, where they like dress up in different
Mhm.
characters and then they like slam each other on the ground and there's like a ring. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm trying to convince Todd to practice some wrestling moves with me, but so far he's not into
Oh,
it.
he's just not into it. He seems like a tiny little man.
No, he's just
Oh,
he
he's not
just
okay.
he just doesn't want to know my strength, probably, is what I
Yeah,
figure.
he right, right. I bet you would win that fight. Let's make a bet on it right now.
Okay.
Should
What are
we?
we betting on?
We're gonna bet that if you and Todd ever wrestled, I'm gonna bet that you would win.
You think so?
Hell yeah. I know that you are, you're anemic and severely lacking in vitamin D. But but here's the thing, Todd loves you,
Mhm.
and I think that Todd would let you win. So I'm gonna vote. So that's what I'm saying is like I'm gonna definitely
That's
bet,
true.
yeah, I'm gonna bet that you would win that round.
I think that Todd would win because I think he's going to cheat and tickle me because he knows that it's my weakness and put me in a position of being vulnerable.
Well, that's cheating. So you would win by default. So either way, you would win.
Well, it's great to know that I'm winning.
Well, hey, I'm in your corner. You know what I mean?
Thanks. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Should we do this?
Let's do it. What we have initially was a missing persons case that is
Uh,
now thought to be a homicide and is being investigated as a homicide, but because of the way that the missing persons case was handled, they most likely will never be able to solve this case, even
uh,
though we all know who did it.
so frustrating.
Let me get adjusted in my chair. The person who I'm going to be talking about today is Roxy Paultauf. I hope I'm saying the last name right.
Mm.
Roxanne was a very sweet 18-year-old girl who had dreams of becoming a fashion designer. And she was very close with her family, her mom, and her younger siblings. She had been staying with her boyfriend, Lewis Walls, at the Budget Inn off of Runberg and I-35. Rough area.
I was gonna say red flag right there.
Yeah. On Friday, July 7th of 2006, she spoke to her mom at around 5:28 saying that she would be staying another night with Lewis and that she would join her mom and her siblings to go back to school shopping the next day.
Oh, wait, how old is she?
18.
Oh, okay.
Or,
So legally an adult.
yeah, legally an adult. Yes.
Okay.
So she never showed up for the shopping. That night, Roxanne's mother received a call from Lewis asking if anybody over there had seen Roxanne. He said that they had gotten into an argument and Roxanne took off on foot and left her purse, her phone, and her money in the hotel room.
Yeah, doubtful.
Yeah. According to Lewis, he waited about 20 minutes after Roxanne left before trying to find her and couldn't find her at all. The
Mm.
next day, Lewis checked out of the motel, took Roxy's stuff with him to his sister's house. He avoided basically questions by police. Like he was never where they could find him. But he eventually did give Roxanne's belongings back to her family on July 12th, like 5 days after she went
She went
missing.
missing. Yeah, no, 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 no. She would have taken her cell phone. A
She would
hundred
have
percent.
taken, yeah, for sure. And especially like that is such a dangerous
Area.
area
Yeah.
and has
Yeah.
been for,
Years.
yeah, since the dawn of time. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be taking something. So,
Suspicious.
Roxanne's mother already had issues with the fact that Roxanne and Lewis were in a relationship together. Lewis initially, when he met Roxanne, told her that he was 19 years old.
Oh no, here we go.
When he was in fact 28 with two
Ah!
children, with two children from a previous relationship.
Ew.
I'm not
See,
clear on the details of when or how Roxanne found out his actual age, but when he was 30 years old and she was 18 whenever she went missing.
okay, no, that's too much. That's
Yeah.
too, I mean, like, I love older guys. That's a huge gap. And and he knows that's a huge gap. Otherwise, he wouldn't have lied about it.
No, yeah. It was
This guy's no good.
a lot.
Bad news. Yeah.
Lewis actually had a record,
Oh.
which included domestic violence against his
Oh.
previous partner. And according to Roxanne's friends, she had confided and they had witnessed some bruises on her. But she also confided that, you know, he had a temper and he had put his hands on her previously and that he would cheat on her on a regular basis. So why they were
What
together,
a scumbag.
I don't know. But clearly he was somebody manipulating the situation given the fact that she's so young and inexperienced and you know what I mean?
That's why they were together. That's why she stayed together with him, because she was young and naive.
Right.
And he took advantage of that. Oh, what a fucking scumbag.
So needless to say, the family already, they weren't buying his story. They knew something was fucked up. The thing about this case is that this was the case that caused the APD to begin handling missing persons cases differently. Initially, when Roxanne's family reported her missing, the police took it as, well, obviously she just walked off in order to make him scared and worried about her. Like she's probably just wanting him to see how you know hard he's willing to try to track her down or to find her, and wants to make him think about what he did, so you know she'll show back up and she'll be fine type of thing. They never asked the hotel to shut down the room that the couple were staying in. They never collected any evidence from the room. People were occupying the room. The maids were coming in to clean the room, and it was just business as usual at the hotel. They never really questioned anybody like around the hotel initially. So any evidence that would have been found in the room, you know,
it was gone.
Yeah, was gone. Was ineffective. Had been tampered with, or could belong to somebody else entirely at this point.
Yeah. Wow, that's really unsettling.
Yeah. So Roxanne never came back. She was never heard from. Her cell phone records were, her family found out, never requested by the APD.
What? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing with their lives? Literally, what is APD doing?
Her family ended up requesting the phone records, and they found that between the time that Roxanne allegedly left the room, which Lewis said was around, 6 or 7, and the time Lewis returned her belongings, including her phone, they noticed that Lewis had made over 300 calls using
on her cell phone.
Roxanne's,
on her cell phone.
On her cell phone.
Oh my God!
Many of them were made to his ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
The ex-girlfriend said that she received voicemails saying, quote, that he was in trouble and he fucked up. During the time in the evening that Roxanne had left, just between the hours of the time of 6:44 and 8:42, 48 calls were made from her phone, including
Jesus.
12 calls that had roaming charges. Are there even roaming charges anymore?
No, not anymore. I don't
I
think.
don't think so either. But those 12 calls had roaming charges, indicating that they weren't even in the area, like the area that they were supposed to be in.
So he fucking like was moving around with her cell
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
Probably, yeah,
Yeah,
hiding her body,
right.
getting rid of evidence.
The 300 calls were made. This is
That's
where
a
my
lot
notes
of
get a little,
calls.
this is where my notes get a little iffy.
I mean, 300 calls is a lot for just getting into a fight with
Yeah,
somebody.
no.
You know what I mean? Like, and like, it's all circumstantial right
Yeah.
now, obviously. Like,
Hmm.
because you could argue that he was just like calling his ex and being like, I fucked up. But like,
Hmm.
maybe he could have been talking about he fucked up with her, with
Right,
Roxanne.
right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
and that is the, I mean, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's why it's so important that the police did their fucking job and investigated the hotel room.
right. But they didn't. They were very
Ugh.
much like, oh, she's a young lady trying to make her boyfriend worried about her. And that's all this is.
No, the roaming thing is really suspicious and concerning.
Right. Um, so many people eventually claimed that they saw Roxanne based on her missing persons flyer, which also made it difficult for police to know, like, whether or not she was missing, because they did have a lot of people claiming that they would see her, which led police in all kinds of different directions. Um,
Hmm.
they did find a man. A man was arrested, I think the next day, within a day or two after Roxanne went missing.
Mm.
His name was Jeffrey Moore, and he was arrested for raping and beating a sex worker half to death.
Oh my God.
Um,
Fuck that
Roxanne's
guy.
ID was found in the back of his car.
How is that possible if her purse and stuff was left at the hotel room?
Exactly.
What's that
Um,
about?
so nobody knows. Basically, the guy Jeffrey said that he gave Roxanne and Lewis a ride to the hotel, and that her ID must have dropped out in the back of his car during the ride, but that he had never, seen her or anything like that since. They never been able to pin this on Jeffrey or on Lewis because Roxanne's body has never been found. Um,
God, that is so frustrating because both of those men have violent
yeah,
pasts.
absolutely. So this case sadly is ending with the fact that Roxanne's family still does not have answers, and that the APD learned every missing persons case that the disappearance is under unusual circumstances has to be treated as a homicide.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, they should have ran his background immediately.
Right.
And they should have realized that they're dealing with somebody who has a violent past.
Well, and you would think that they would be like, he's 30 and she's 18. Like,
Yeah.
already that's bizarre behavior. But,
Yeah.
this is Texas, so, they're
Hmm.
just
I
like,
know.
oh, state of consent, age of consent here is 17 years old, so she can do whatever she wants.
I mean, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
just because
Like
it's legal doesn't mean that people are able to
not
make
being taken advantage
decisions to
of.
be with a
Right.
way older person.
I mean, I just it's just the fact that the police just didn't do their job well enough.
Yeah,
Like, you should have immediately checked his background because statistically, it's always the husband, it's always the boyfriend, it's
right.
always, It's somebody that is in a romantic relationship with the person.
Yeah.
You should have been number one suspect that something had happened to this girl.
Yeah,
They should have
absolutely.
swept they should have swept the fucking room. I'm glad that they're treating all missing persons as a homicide because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who leaves without their personal belongings,
Right.
especially their cell phone? That's
Yeah.
unheard of nowadays. It's
Yeah.
unheard of.
I mean, even just like you would be wanting to talk to someone who is close to you, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, and in 2006, like everybody had cell phones. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
they weren't like great, but there was a lot of flip phones still, but they still had their cell phone, and that was big. Like the landlines were kind of like already phasing out. Like most people didn't even have landlines anymore. Like
Right.
that was people's main source of communication was their cell phone. Most people who carry purses don't leave that shit behind.
Yeah. So I'm not too much of a purse girl. I have like a little backpack bag that I carry my stuff in, but
Yeah.
I have a like basically like a clutch wallet.
Yeah.
But if I'm going somewhere, I am usually bringing that wallet with me unless it's just absolutely like going to be too cumbersome to carry around.
Yes.
But I don't carry a purse, but I at least have my wallet, which has my birth control and my money in it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
you don't leave that shit behind.
yeah,
My cell phone, I have a case that has all my like cards, my identification, like
right.
all of it is on my phone case, in my phone case. So like I don't leave my phone anywhere,
Yeah. And I think that
you
most
know?
people, like, I mean, I forgot my phone at home one time pretty recently, and
Yeah.
I was completely lost.
Yeah.
Todd and I check in with each other whenever we get to work just to say like we made it safely. I had no way of telling him that I made it to work. I could not remember his phone number because now who remembers phone numbers anymore? And I had no way to get in touch with him. I was hoping like maybe he would call the office if he
Right.
got worried, and then I could tell him like, "Hey, I'm here." Um, and he was off work that day, so I couldn't call like attempt to reach him at work. But I ended up having to come home because I couldn't even make it a few hours, and I wanted to like let people know that I was okay and I'm not dead or anything.
I know my boss will be the first person to tell you that I cannot stay off my phone.
Yeah,
It's so true. I
yeah,
mean, God, they've got to look into Lewis again. And I bet he's done it again. I bet he's a repeat
right.
offender. I wouldn't be surprised if like another one of his girlfriends fucking went missing or they had given them a ride.
Yeah,
What's up with that guy? Like, where's he at?
yeah.
You know? They need to look into these people more. This is
No, I
ridiculous.
agree. I agree completely.
My case is kind of, it's not a very long case. It's not
Mhm.
very nothing's ever really come of it because obviously it's a cold case, but this case is 39 years old. I only
Mhm.
know that because it happened in 1984 and yours truly was born in 1984, so I know that math pretty well.
Happy birthday.
God, no. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to think about it. Okay. This is the case of Helen Marie Kilgore. On April 13th, in 1984, 13-year-old Corpus Christi native Helen Kilgore left her home without telling her parents or any of her three sisters where she was headed. The middle schooler had been known to run out but would always return home, and when Helen failed to come home that night on April 13th, her father, James Kilgore, went to the Corpus Police Department and filed a missing persons report.
Okay.
A month before her disappearance, Helen had run away after being gone for some time. Authorities found her in San Antonio, Texas, and was
Damn.
brought, I know, and was brought home safely to Corpus. Okay, that's like over 200 miles away, right?
Yeah,
A
what are you
fish
doing, Helen?
I don't understand how she did that. Like at 13 years old,
Was
like
she hitchhiking, or was hitchhiking even a big thing back in the 80s still?
I think so.
84?
She must have been because how else would she have gotten that far from Corpus Christi?
Well, so Pee-wee's Big Adventure was made in 1987, and he hitchhiked
He
there.
hitchhiked to Texas, yeah.
He got picked up by Mickey, hitchhiked to Texas, and
I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense is that she was hitchhiking.
hitchhiking.
On April 15th, 2 days after her family reported her missing, Helen called home from what authorities now assume was a payphone and told her parents she was in Belton, Texas, 276 miles from her home in Corpus Christi.
Damn.
That's
She's
like
just
4 hours.
around. Yeah.
Dude, 4 hours away. That's far. Like how does that even happen? I don't even know. At the time of her disappearance, there was no way for the police to track where the phone call Helen Place came from. And there were only two options. Either she had paid the 10 cents to call from a payphone, or she had borrowed a landline from either a business or from someone's home. So
Okay.
she really could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
Back in 1984, like payphones were everywhere, though. I mean, they were on the side
No,
of the
it's true.
highway.
I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And Belton is off of 35.
Yeah,
So,
so it's right off of
mm-hmm. So she
several
was
gas
probably,
stations or hotels and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? On April 22nd, 7 days after Helen called home from Belton, a man named Durwood Koonsman, a local to the town of Meridian, a North Texas city, 346 miles and 5 hours from Helen's home in Corpus Christi, saw a rolled up blanket on the side of the highway.
Hmm.
I turned around and went back by it, and I seen feet sticking out, Koonsman said. To his horror, it was a fully clothed body of Helen Marie Kilgore. Autopsy would later reveal that she had been likely kidnapped, beaten from head to toe,
God.
and shot in the head by a 38 caliber gun.
Jesus.
Yeah. So whoever killed her, like beat her profusively from head to toe.
There
And I
was
guess,
no sexual assault.
well, I get in 1984, I don't know if they even,
What
you
took
know,
the samples or
took the,
anything?
yeah, yeah. I mean, she had her clothes on, but that doesn't mean
It
that
doesn't mean
she,
anything. Yeah.
mm-mm, they could have put their clothes back on her, but like being beaten from head to toe,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, because if she's head to toe covered in bruises, then, you know,
Yeah.
so sad.
That
Um,
is intense.
it's super intense because it's like, where was she, like, who picked her up, you
Yeah, like,
know?
and who would do something like that to a little girl? How she's 13?
She's 13 years old, yeah. I mean, I don't know what her family life was like, and it doesn't say anything. Her sisters are still alive, so you know, I don't know. Only they can speak of how home life was. But
Right.
if she was running away so much, like,
You would assume it's because things weren't going well.
right, or maybe she was just adventurous. I don't know. I mean, I think we all, as teenagers, we have these like rebellious
Hmm.
streaks. You know what I mean? Where we want to just go and start our life somewhere,
Right.
but it's not reality, and somebody took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, information is scant concerning the original investigation, but it's fair to say the case slowly but surely went cold. All that has been made public is that the investigators believe Helen was killed elsewhere before being dumped from the trunk of a car. So they do know that she was in the trunk of a car. So
How can
she
they tell?
probably fibers on her body.
Okay.
So they probably knew from fibers on her body that she came from the trunk of a car. But
Okay.
you would think that they would know what type of car if
Right.
that was the case.
Have a little something to
Yeah, but
go on.
it's still an open investigation, so they're probably not going to be releasing a lot of information as far
Yeah,
as
that's
that
true.
kind of stuff goes. So Helen was killed elsewhere before being dumped from the trunk of a car, and that a Bosque County grand jury once declined to indict a suspect identified by the Texas Rangers. His or her name has never been revealed. So I guess they had a suspect. And then they just never,
Could pin it
they
on
never
him.
pressed charges. Yeah, they've never pressed charges. His or her name. Come on, we all know it was a man.
Yeah, come on. Except for
Um,
the occasional woman, also.
right, right. But they usually don't beat. They
No,
usually
that's true.
poison.
No, remember that girl? What's her name? I always forget her
I
name.
Eileen Warner,
Who?
Warner, the girl, the sex worker, the monster, the
Oh, Eileen Warnos?
yeah, Eileen
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 Warner?
Warnos. Yeah.
I'm like, who is that? No, honestly, like Eileen, I feel so bad for Eileen.
I did. I felt bad for Eileen too.
Honestly. Like, she
Me
was, I
too.
mean, whatever. We don't have to talk about it, but
No.
we can talk about it later. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh man, like I can't think of the girl's name, but it was that girl who had to live with that woman. And it was like her and her sister had to live with the woman, and the woman like really just disliked her.
Oh
She
God,
would beat her, and then she would have the kids beat her.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh God, that was such a sad story.
Every
What a
once in a
terrible.
while, there are
Ugh,
women like that.
yeah,
Now,
that's true.
definitely way more few and far between than the men, but every once in a
Right.
while.
Every once in a while. So I used to read these books about child abuse, and one of the stories was called A Child Named It.
Oh my
And then
God,
there
I've
was
never read it. I
uh
like the people who read it are like, it's heartbreaking, but it's so good. Like, you have to read it. I'm too
well listen.
emotional.
Well listen, there's also another one called there's another book called Call Me Tuesday, and that's like a really sad story, but in both those books they were targeted and singled out by their
Hmm.
mother. There's like a term for it, and it's called the scapegoat child is what
Yeah.
it's called. So they pick a child and then they like beat them or abuse them or neglect them. And that's kind of what was happening too with the other girl that we were just talking about. She wasn't, she was the only one that got abused like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though her sister and her were living with her and they both weren't her blood, she
Yeah.
still only picked
The one
that
kid.
that one kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a psychological thing.
Yeah.
And that's really, it's not common, but it does happen with women who've had children.
Yeah.
And it's
No.
usually the mother.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like, I don't
you should.
know if you've seen the trials of Gabriel
Oh,
Fernandez.
I was obsessed with the trials of Gabriel Hunt. I would love to talk about that on a podcast
I
episode
would too.
because I'm actually following another case that they actually touched on at the end of Gabriel Fernandez's
Hmm.
documentary about Anthony what's his name? Anthony something. But he was also a little boy in the Antelope Valley. Mother was dating a guy who just beat Anthony to death. Just beat him to death.
God.
But same thing, like same fucking scenario, same background, same all of it. Just
Oh
really,
my
really
God.
heartbreaking. It's
Yeah.
just really heartbreaking. In 2017, Chief Deputy Clint Pullen of the Bosque County Sheriff's Office reopened Helen's homicide cold case. We will find out who did this, Pullen said. Time to finally try to close the book on this case and find out who the shooter is. Helen's sister Kelly said that despite the passage of time since the murder, she's determined to keep the teenager's name at the forefront of people's minds in hopes that one day new evidence will emerge. It's limited because not always do we have the same evidence here that we did in 1984.
Hmm.
There is some evidence that is no longer here, Pullen said,
Why?
because they probably didn't store the evidence correctly.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah,
all right.
and that it was destroyed.
How hard is
Um,
it to like people's social security cards are
yeah.
like sometimes pristine, and they get carried around for 60 fucking years. Like, how hard is it to make sure evidence doesn't get destroyed?
Look, if I was a fucking police officer, I don't know if this is gonna be good or bad, but I'd throw everything in the freezer. Just
I
everything.
know.
Everything goes in the freezer. I
No,
don't
I
care
would
what it is.
too. And the
Put it all.
second I hear that freezer stop working, I'm placing a call to come and get it replaced.
Yes, we're not fucking around. I want all this evidence to be good until the year 2055.
Seriously.
Okay?
Until technology is so far advanced that the evidence itself can tell us who did it. Like, we
Yes.
can put a microphone to the evidence and it be like, it was this guy.
Yeah, this motherfucker.
That
God,
evidence
like,
is staying frozen.
why do they just don't teach people correctly how to. I can't even talk. I'm so flustered. They don't teach detectives or just or I don't even know if they're called plainclothes police, but they don't teach police officers to correctly store evidence.
How hard is it? Seriously.
It can't be that hard. It really cannot be that hard.
You put it in
They're
a
like,
bag and you put it in a freezer.
said Law and Order.
Come on.
That's how we know.
Seriously.
Jesus. Kelly also hired a private investigator to look into the murder of her sibling. Despite the apparent lack of progress in the murder of Helen Kilgore since reopening the case in 2017, the Texas Rangers still hope to find answers. If you have any information about this homicide case, you can submit a tip online, or you can contact the Texas Crime Stoppers at 1-800-252-TIPS. That's 8477. Texas Crime Stoppers is offering a cash reward up to $3,000 to any person who provides information that leads to the arrest of the person or persons responsible for the murder of Helen Marie Kilgore. To be eligible for the cash rewards, tipsters must call the Crime Stoppers hotline. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and just do the missing persons too. So today's missing persons is out of Houston, Texas. Her name is Emily Hughes. She is
Emily?
Emily.
Oh, that's pretty.
She is a 12-year-old African American female with brown hair and black eyes. She's 4'6". She's 100 pounds. She was last seen getting into a dark-colored four-door Dodge pickup truck on February 22nd. At 1:40 a.m. at the 7700 block of Water Chase Drive in Houston, Texas. According to the Amber Alert, Emily was wearing a white crop top and pink joggers. If you know where she is, or if you recognize her, you can call the Houston Police Department. Yeah, I don't have a number for that. They don't have it on this flyer.
Look it up, please.
Or you can contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But I'm gonna put all that information on the Instagram and on the Facebook page as well.
Perfect, madam. If
Perfect.
you haven't joined our Patreon, I strongly suggest that you do so. We are going to be posting some special episodes available to Patreons only, which we're covering some other cases, some that are more widely known. I do have a case that I have been dying to talk about that is extremely close to me. Not necessarily me, but that I'm familiar with someone who was close to someone that was involved. Yeah, so it's something that I I talk about all the time. I mean, not all the time, but that I would love to discuss with you, because it is like I got really involved in it for a while, and I don't.
Wow.
And nobody really like knows about it. It never gained like notoriety or anything, which I thought was kind of bizarre, but Anyway,
Well, hey, let's crack that case open. Let's
we're
do
gonna
it.
crack it open. We're gonna crack it open, and so we're gonna be doing special episodes like that on the Patreon. If you haven't subscribed, I suggest you do so.
Yes, please. It's really exciting and we have a lot of like I'm working on the bloopers. We have a blooper reel for the first episode that we did, which is hilarious
Yes, I
because
heard.
we are
I heard some
hilarious.
of it, and I laughed
Yeah.
also.
A
I did a chuckle.
real a real guttural laugh.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Yeah. But we also you get cool merch and we will be working on that as well. But also like it just helps us because we can like the more money we can put towards a podcast, the more we can help people as well.
Yeah.
Trying to help, like with resources and getting connected with other people. So it is important and it is like it would mean so much to us, and people who have already subscribed, you guys are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I
thank
I
you.
was even though I had to like basically beg my brother to be like, "Hey, you gotta
Wait,
you
we
gotta
haven't
do
announced
this."
him yet. We haven't announced
Ow,
him. Cut that.
that's true. Cut that out. But no, it really is flattering and it's very humbling and it's like it's just it really is just the best thing you can do. Um, for people who have a podcast or any other kind of like passion that they have, because it's good to know that people support us and that we aren't just doing this, for nothing.
Yeah.
Like as far as like helping other people.
Right, right.
So yeah, that sounded bad. But talking about I wasn't talking about monetary stuff. I mean, really like it helps us to keep going. People who like listen or like recognize us that we're, who we are and what we're doing, it like helps us, to keep going.
Right, exactly.
And it is important. It's really important. So we thank you guys.
Thank you.
If you want to support us in any other way, you can always join our Facebook group
It's Nosy Nancy's
and,
podcast.
and our Facebook page.
It's Nosy Nancy's podcast also.
You can also join our Instagram, or not join, but follow our Instagram
It's Nosy Nancy's.
and our Patreon.
Is Nosy Nancy's podcast, isn't it?
And I think it's just Nosy Nancy's.
Oh, it's just Nosy
Um,
Nancy's.
if you have any questions or concerns, or you have a case that you want us to look into, or if you want to just, talk to us, you can email us at nosynancies@gmail.com. That's NOESEYNANCIS@gmail.com. And we'd always look forward to hearing from you.
I'm just really bad about following up. That's part of my disorder.
Yeah, no, it's probably going to be me who's responding. But sometimes I pretend like I'm Jasmine
Yeah.
because that way people, they think they're getting both of us.
Yeah, it's true.
So, all right, well, I think that's it, right?
That's it. That's it. Thanks so much for your time.
We'll see you next time.
All right. See you on the flip. Stay tuned.
Ciao.
Okay, so we'll just let this run for a second longer. Doesn't
Does
close
its
close
thing.
off it. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
I don't know, it's really making me angry. It's really clicking my triggers. It's really chapping my ass.
Ew.
C'est la vie, ma